From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is a Thunder update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Eric Horn. All right, Eric, game one, post Enes Kanter's broken arm. What stood out to you about this first game without Kanter? I mean, obviously on the road at Cleveland is going to be a tough place to win, even if you've got everybody ready to go. But what stood out to you about the Thunder in this post-Kanter era?
You know, the reserves actually didn't look as bad as I thought they would. Joffrey Laverne and Domantas Sabonis, and Domantas Sabonis is actually a starter, but his minutes were extended in the first quarter. He played the entire first quarter. Joffrey Laverne came in. He provided 13 points. He was pretty efficient offensively. He ran the lane well and showed some good hands for guys like Russell Westbrook and Victor Oladipo to provide passes. And that's some of the things that those guys needed to do. You know, Domantas Sabonis had his second consecutive double-digit game. That's the first time he's done it all season. So for these two big guys to come up the way that they did in a hostile environment on the road when the first game without Kanter, I thought they did their job for the most part. Okay. Now, basically what it came down to against Cleveland was they didn't really have anybody that could account for LeBron James and Kyrie Irving in the second half. Those guys just shot the lights out. Kyrie was torching Alex Abrinas, and the Thunder still beating a dead horse. Doesn't have enough shooting right now to really be able to compete with a team like that. Yeah,
and to be fair, LeBron and Kyrie will kill a lot of teams.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not just a Thunder problem. They're excellent, obviously. Let's talk about Russell Westbrook, another triple-double in Cleveland. And, I mean, we've seen all shapes and sizes of triple-doubles with Russell Westbrook, and they're all impressive in their own way. But that game seemed like he was man on a mission, maybe even more than normal. Is that fair?
Yeah, particularly with the offensive rebounds. He had 5 that matched his season high for any game for having offensive rebounds. Some of that was necessary because, you know, you don't have Enes Kanter out there. He's one of those guys that's really good. He's a world-class offensive rebounder. So Russell Westbrook not only was compensating for Enes Kanter being missing, he had 12 rebounds total, but he wasn't getting the foul calls he usually gets too. He was absorbing a lot of contact from Cleveland defenders. There were times where Russell would absorb the contact, put up a shot, miss, get his own rebound, and still power through and finish. It was remarkable to watch, and you could see the anger and frustration after the play. You know, the and one and the fist pump.
Yeah.
So I think it was one of Russell Westbrook's more well-earned triple-doubles last night. He could have easily had more assists. Thunder missed way too many layups, and the shooting wasn't there for Russell, but we've seen time and time again this season, Russell's going to have those nights where he's just not shooting a high percentage because teams are going to be focused on him.
Obviously, the schedule didn't do the Thunder a ton of didn't give him a ton of help when you got to go to Cleveland for that first post-Kanter game. Schedule's not helping them out anymore because now they got to go to San Antonio and play the Spurs for the first time this season. Kind of crazy that they have yet to play San Antonio. We'll now play them, what, 3 times before the end of the year. But obviously, tough road situation going to San Antonio. How do you see this matchup shaking down, and is it vastly different without Enes Kanter?
It would have helped to have Kanter. I mean, Kanter's traditionally beat up on the Spurs. We saw in the Western Conference semis from the past season, Kanter and Adams were highly effective against the Spurs lineup, but it's going to be interesting to see because the Spurs have been one of the best shooting teams in the league. They're actually a team that's coming in on a little bit of a slump. They've lost consecutive games to New Orleans and Dallas, and those are 2 bad teams. So are the Spurs going to show up and play this game? They probably are. It's a home game for the Spurs, and there's no reason to think they're going to put together 3 consecutive poor performances. But as we saw again against an elite team like Cleveland last night, the Thunder's margin for error is slim. When they're not making their outside shots, they've got to hit close to everything on the inside. They can't miss gimme layups like they did against Cleveland. They've got to value the ball. They can't take quick 3-pointers early in the shot clock. That's as good as a turnover for the Thunder, basically. And against a Spurs team that shoots it so well, that's not going to work.
All right, the drama continues Tuesday night in San Antonio. It's a 7:30 tip-off. And be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com every day in the Oklahoman.